Well, those words coming from a writer and a person I respect so much, Richard Allen, I genuinely appreciate it. And I would have to say you see more in my work than I see. And I'm not being funny. I just don't. I just write. Sometimes I get things right, and other times, well, if you have an infinite number of monkeys, give it an infinite number of time. They could write west of me. What Joe says is mostly true, given what percentage of the night he's truly conscious. But a lot of things he missed. And I have to say, Matt, you were never better, and it's a shame. Because of the time factor, I'm not going to do all the things that I had in mind.
No.
Oh, come on. Do you think I'm easy? All right, I'll read some of the things. I was going to read a whole short story, but maybe some other time, because it's out of the whole thing. But I'll just read a few of the new ones, and then I'll get into this book. This is called "Is There Life After Birth?" She comes up to me at a party waving her new book, now ranked 26,347th on Amazon.com. And rank is the right word. She wants to know how I'm doing. How come I don't publish more? She is standing in front of me, all tentacles and spidery arms, so I can't get by or get around. She is effusive, praising me with faint dams. Being here reminds me of how glad I am not to come to parties that writing is discouraging enough without being surrounded by success. Years ago, Charles Mingus lived in New York, and from time to time he had some very serious struggles emotionally and physically, and I thought I'd write this little piece about him and about his death, which a lot of people don't realize. It's all factual. Or as Ken Kesey used to say, it's the truth, even if it didn't happen. But this happened. One day I saw Charles Mingus carrying his bass on East 11th, double timing in summer sweat. No time to stop and talk, on his way to a session, too early for a gig. But in his eyes an urgency, like maybe he's been evicted again, broke in the cold world of landlords and club owners. A man always haunted, always in a hurry, like he knew life is short. But he couldn't see the end, his last days in a wheelchair in Cuernavaca, the city of eternal spring. And that is where Mingus finally got sprung. His body turned to ashes, then flown to the Himalayas and poured into the Ganges to flow in eternal waters. A certain riff, a flawless bridge, his cool, extended, final solo. I wish I was my wife, so I could be married to me. You're not going to show me respect. You know, a lot of writers write symbolically, metaphorically. I don't. I tend to just write what I feel and see. Every now and then, an accident happens. This is called inevitable. The river has gone to bed, lying on its side, mouth open, as all manner of slithery life passes through. Hours of sonorous breathing continue, rip-rapping past unanticipated rocks and fallen trees, traversed by nocturnal raccoon and possum, uprooted by the straddled legs of deer, all moving without fear of Adams or Buddha, or the kiss and caress of a low-swaying willow. The river turns in sleep, stretching like a long, dark train to the gray Atlantic. This is called the outermost center. In most cases, it is a terrible mistake to know oneself. I also think it is better to be led into temptation than to be left out. There is a strange warning on my coffee cup. Contents might be hot. Evolution has been declared illegal, Harry Potter has been banned in schools, and the Pope has admitted he's fallible. Jim Baker's in prison, Tammy Faye is dead. Jimmy Lee Swaggart confesses to mingling with prostitutes, and the Archdiocese of Boston pays off millions of dollars for priestly child abusers. Presbyterians, afraid there is too much danger in Love Thy Neighbor, splinter over having a woman bishop. Astronauts are flying Trump. Eggs are good for you. No, they're bad for you. No, they're good for you. No, it's coffee that's bad for your kidneys. No, coffee is good. It's chocolate that's bad. No, chocolate is good. St. John's wort, that is good. And then St. John's wort has to be removed. There's no fooling anybody. No, it's bottled water that's good. No, it's from springs deep below the earth. No, it's from public water supply. Certain bottled water is good. No, the water dissolves the carcinogenic plastic in the bottles. Okay, go outside, get exercise, power walk. No, the air is bad. Jog. No, you'll ruin your knees. Now salt is bad. Thin was good, fat was bad. Now thin is bad, and some fat is essential, but alcohol is bad. No weight. Alcohol is good. I no longer have the faith to believe in everything I never had faith in. False positive. Jason's doctor said his white count is awry, and that they'd better take more tests. And they found the usual confusion, since in medicine negative means positive and positive means negative. The tests were positive, so Jason blew negative, quit his job teaching art at community college, and started painting like crazy, living on nothing but coffee and cigarettes. Day and night painting abstract nudes and nude abstractions, because, well, he didn't have enough money for nudes. And he didn't want to die unknown, forgotten, tossed into the dumpster of history. And one day, Dr. Amos's assistant called because subsequent tests showed that the previous tests were false positives, and the new tests were all negative. Are you positive, Jason? Yes. The assistant said, I'm positive they're negative. Since then, Jason hasn't painted, has given up cigarettes because he ran out of money. He can't even make love. Since he found out he's not dying, he has nothing to live for. This is a Roy Rogers poem. And he had this, I don't know if the museum still exists, the Roy Rogers Museum at Victorville. After Roy passed away, his adopted son Rusty was running it for a while, now it still exists. Well, the King of the Cowboys stood outside his museum, which was filled with photos and ghosts from trail dust and sagebrush trains. And Roy greeted everyone, a man of good nature with a lot of time on his hands. He talked about Republic pictures, the Sons of the Pioneers, Whiff Carter, Pat Brady, George, Gabby Hayes. And inside the museum, Roy led me over to his horse, Trigger, who had been stuffed and mounted, front legs pawing the air, almost looking real. Roy said the worst day of his life was when Trigger died. The smartest horse ever, a movie star who could count and roll over. Well, many actresses can do that. That's not in the poem, but sure. I mean, it is. So Trigger had nothing. But I thought Roy's worst day hasn't happened yet. That will be when he dies and his wife Dale has him stuffed and mounted astride Trigger. I'm not going to do the IQ test, but I'll pass them later. Let me see. I will break one of my own personal rules and tell the truth. I need to alert you to a dangerous situation. You're spending too much time yielding to temptation. Behold, I hold up a calorie between right thumb and index finger. You will note its soft texture as well as its invisibility. This calorie alone is not the enemy. But when one calorie meets another calorie, they're worse than rabbits. They merge and mutate into a geometrical reflex that doubles and redoubles instantaneously without end. The first step is to admit that carrots taste worse than ice cream. As long as you are in denial, the calories will mount and assault. Before you know it, you're wearing flower print muumuus. Your thighs rub together and make sounds of giant crickets. Even when you're not wearing flip-flops, it sounds as though you are. It's every part of your body flip-flopping into one gelatinous mass of vulcanized flesh. And you will flash back to tonight when I tried to stop you while you sat in front of another bowl of ice cream, strangely comforting. And this is, I think, the last one I'll read from the sort of the newer stuff. Waiting for a sign. I once had 1,000 relatives, direct connections to ancestry, but this year I sent out only 21 cards to wish a joyful Christmas. All the time I know I'm lying. What should I tell them? That we're all doomed? That the priests who taught us about God have all been arrested? I keep hoping for an angel with a silky voice to sing to me, or at least give me the correct lotto numbers. But all I hear is silence, interrupted.